Hello, GM, everyone. This is the next episode from Hot Takes and Cold Wallets. I got two guests with me today again. Nikita, Juan, how you doing?
Yeah, doing good, doing good. We're at Def Connect. Things are looking really good. It's been a really good week. Um, the markets might be a little bit down, but the vibes here are really good.
Juan, how about you?
Yeah, all good here. Enjoying Argentina's good weather. Right now it's raining a bit, but not so terrible. But yeah, overall, great week. We are meeting with a lot of customers, partners, a lot of people coming from all over the world, eating good food, good meat, knowing, yeah, new people overall. So yeah, has been a crazy week, but overall, I think we are all pretty happy, and it's great to see crypto community coming up to Buenos Aires. So yeah, excited to be here again with you, Wimmy.
Thank you. The question I have, Nikita Juan, is have you bumped into Roscoe Callis yet?
Yeah, I literally just spoke to him like 2 minutes ago. It's fun. It's hilarious you asked that. Like I literally was just talking to him that for the first time in person. And like, it's like he's a really good guy. I didn't realize he was a solo builder of Revoke. I thought there must be like a couple of team members that are good now, but no, he's just building out himself. And we had actually an interesting conversation because they're starting to monetize Revoke Cash a little bit, right? And honestly, like I was speaking with him, I was saying, that's a good idea. If you're building something so valuable, it's so important to the ecosystem you should be making some money off of it, just at least for the sake of continuing to develop it, right? There's a lot of great open source people out there. There's a lot of great initiatives out there, but I think, at least from my perspective, something that's really important is that great security tools need to get paid fundamentally, and so you're providing extremely valuable service. You should make some money off of that, and so. And he's not asking for much for something that really helps, protect your wallets like at a very significant level.
Yeah, I think that's probably like another topic for another whole episode, I guess, because like I myself have like experience with boring security firsthand and Revoke too. Like getting funded as a public good in the space has become harder. It has become pretty much like not impossible,
Definitely.
but very hard. But the market is down. Midikita, you told us before. It's pretty. I wouldn't say it's dead, but it's pretty much down nowadays. And therefore, it's a good reminder for everyone to tap into like security basics because like if the excitement is gone at least for a few weeks or few days, I think it's a good reminder for everyone to tap back into the basics of security. I mean, because usually guys still stay around. You are still here, so why not at least take the time to learn something and level up your security game? And this is what this show is for, actually, right? You can level up the security game with us, with the guys, the squad at Chain Patrol. So yeah. We wanted to talk about 2FA and QR codes today because obviously these are like very common at conferences as well. And
Yeah,
2FA, Nikita, have a shoot.
yeah. We actually were just discussing this yesterday, and Juan can maybe contribute in a second here. But what we what we're really looking at is, one related to conferences, right? People are traveling. You have TFA. Where do you like? First of all, two-factor authentication. Just for like a quick description, this is when you need to log into your account. You get that extra code, to log in besides your password. And there's a couple of ways you can set it up, right? You can set it up phone-based 2FA. That's been used before a lot. Not a good idea. We can go into that in a little bit. But what we're seeing really happening a lot now is um, people set up to like Google Authenticator or something similar on their phone, maybe a one password or something else. But too many people have this set up really in only one spot. It's either only on one device or only in one. Uh, Mostly it's only on one device. People scan the QR code. They're like, surely I wrote down that backup code, but they may not. They may not have it saved anywhere, right? So that's what's one really really important step, right? Um, and in apps like Google Authenticator, there's two settings that you can do there, right? There's one kind of maybe controversial setting, you could say, and it's the backup to Google Cloud, right? And it's a tricky one, right? Because the probably the more secure option, maybe not having this backup, just because then now, hacking into your account can become a way of getting your authentication codes. So if there's another approach, like maybe what if your Google account itself is not 2FA, or what if it's like tied to a different 2FA device? Um, or maybe you have like a backup email and that backup email gets hacked, right? So now that backup to Google Cloud can potentially become dangerous. On the other hand, tons of people have gotten locked out of their devices and accounts because they forgot to sync, to sync to Google Cloud. They forgot to write down their backup codes, and now they're kind of stuck. Like maybe dropped your phone in the toilet, and now it's fried, and you can't get it. You just can't get it back, right? So like. Um, many such cases have happened, and I'm actually curious, Sumi, do you have your authenticators backed up?
Yeah, if we like want to go a step back maybe to get some
Yeah, yeah,
mandatory stuff in, the first option that you have is basically no 2FA, which will only be like your password protecting your email address, which is
yeah,
like the worst kind of security that you can do.
Yeah.
Because like I guess nowadays it's pretty much becoming obvious that almost every password has been hacked. I mean, if you're not using like some 32 characters kind of matchup stuff, but we all know that in Web 2 people do not use these type of passwords. They use password 123 point maybe or something, right? So this is like the worst step that you can do, like having no 2FA at all, because like especially when we're talking about the crypto concepts or the concepts of social logins, for example, into wallets, which are out there nowadays, right? For Privy, for example, you can just use like an email address as a wallet, and if you use your password, or if someone gets access to your password, they will also have access to your wallet that you created with this social login. So this is obviously like a bad idea, not only for crypto purposes, but in the context of crypto as well. And then SMS, Juan, I think you from the United States or Canada, you can tell a bit more about this, because I myself am from Germany, and like SIM swapping isn't that common in Germany because you have to jump through a lot of hoops to even like legally change a SIM card yourself. But like in the United States or other countries where you can like maybe bribe some customer service guys, that's becoming an issue, and it has been an issue for the past years.
Yeah. Yeah, actually from that I can share like something that happened here in Argentina like a couple months ago. That is was a lot of people actually had like their Payoneer account, that is like a fintech where you can receive money from like all different places from all of the world. And a lot of people here like had like their account being set up with their passwords like a 2FAs with their phones. And what happened is that actually Pioneer didn't allow like any other option, like didn't allow like Shubi keys or any other like hardware keys that you can do in these different cases. And it was like a really interesting hack, because the thing that was had was like the phone provider that actually got all these different SMS being sent out to people. So what happened is that a lot of people actually like didn't click like any fake links. They didn't have like any problems from their devices, but it was like a massive hack to this provider that actually got to a lot of people to lose their money, because the hacker was
wow.
able to get into their accounts without actually getting them hacked. So what I can conclude from this is that this only have like SMS as a provider to your accounts is like a really difficult, not only for like the possibility of having like these SIM swaps, but also these probabilities, because like you're not depend not only on yourself in these cases, but you depend on providers that actually provide these services when you receive the SMS. So it's like a lot of different things, a lot of different parties involved, and if one of them gets hacked, you can get hacked. So it might be not your fault as per se, but it can be your fault because you don't have like any other any other thing put apart like from SMS provider. So yeah, that's my take on this. Is something that happened probably like 5-6 months ago. Hopefully this is solved, and all these providers don't have like that option right now. But yeah, that's happened. Really
That's
really
a crazy
key.
situation. Yeah, like
Yeah.
because we see sometimes SIM swaps where individuals get targeted, or maybe a support person gets compromised in like a certain group. But this is like a mass targeting, right? So it's that's scary stuff, scary stuff, because like then who knows how many individuals were impacted? Who knows how many accounts are how many people are going to realize that they were part of the hack. How do you track it? It also raised then a lot of questions like how good was the logging of both the phone provider and at the and at this kind of fintech company, because then like okay, like how do any of the parties involved know how many users were impacted? And so because then maybe potentially passwords were changed, maybe backdoors were set up, right? So it's a very very tricky situation. What we're also seeing is just that in crypto as well, like just a lot of individuals getting targeted with SIM swaps. This is particularly spear phishing, targeting CEOs of companies, executives, where they're really after getting access to your accounts because they know you often have like really high admin accounts and this kind of stuff. um, One thing is off, like what I've heard, some kind of heads of security say is they actually, when they start working with companies, part of some of the first things they have to do is actually go and make sure that the founders do not have the highest level permission in the company, because they're actually going to get targeted more than anybody else. And normally you're like, oh, okay, I'm the founder, so I have like faster admin to everything, right? And so what we're seeing is that um, long term, this is not the best way to have this setup going. You need to have it in a place where over time the founders actually need to give up a little bit of that control, and also you need to be a little bit careful of like what information you reveal about who handles this kind of security within your company, because it just adds extra targets on people. Um, but yeah, we maybe we can talk about like hard going into hardware keys, hardware keys versus 2FA. I'll pass it over to you.
Yeah, I just want to like conclude that like having SMS as 2FA is probably better than not having like 2FA, no 2FA at all. But you should avoid SMS whenever it's possible to do so, because like it's the weakest option that you have basically. And I just wanted to mention that even with SMS, when your phone number is in some kind of database, it always gets like into like the possibility to get like the database like compromised, and then you get additional SMS from, I don't know, UPS
Yeah, it's like
phishing,
getting
or
fish.
example, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
they are saying like, hey, there's a package like waiting for you, etc., etc., which is not like tied to the login at all, but someone just lost the database and now your phone number is everywhere. And I guess like most phone numbers, like even our phone numbers, my phone number gets like called twice a day, maybe from Poland, from the UK, from I don't know
Yeah.
where. And I don't know where the data got leaked, but they are calling me, that's for sure.
And just so do you think it's gotten worse in Europe? Would you say? Because I actually was talking to somebody about this like a year or two ago, and they were like, "Oh, we don't get that many phishing calls in Europe," but I've heard that maybe changing a little bit.
Yeah,
How do you feel?
it got worse for sure. Like I would say, like especially like the last 2 or 3 years, it got much worse. I mean,
Interesting. Yeah,
luckily, I'm using a Google phone, so I have this kind of call screening assistant. When they're calling me, I just swipe up,
that
and
thing is clutch. Yeah.
then they are telling them like, "Hey, you are calling. What is the reason why you're calling this person?" And usually they hang up by then. But sometimes they just wait in line, and then yeah, I'm just keep them hanging because like I never answer those calls, obviously. But circling back, yeah, SMS is a weak link. You can use it if you have like no other options. Sometimes there is no other option, like Juan said. Some banking apps even do not provide any other options sometimes. But then you have the ability to use 2FA authenticator apps, which probably are known as Google Authenticator or Authy nowadays. It's like the most common used, I guess. And Nikita briefly touched on the cloud backup options. I want to say that it's like a trade-off basically. Like cloud backups are not really great when you want to be secure as much as you can be, but if you do not have any like cloud backups enabled and you lose the backup keys that Nikita talked about, like you get a set of backup keys and you did not back them up properly, or you lose access because you saved them on your hard drive or whatever, you are gonna have a hard time logging into that account again if you ever get the chance to, Nikita, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's something that, I would say security needs to be built up in these kinds of layers of what you're comfortable with, right? Because there's the ultimate most secure setup, it's going to take forever to get it working. And also, especially if you're not just trying to do it for yourself, but you're trying to enforce it across your organization, you're going to have to really force people to go through a lot of hoops and spend a lot of time of it. And what ends up happening is they don't even get the first basic steps in because the whole thing feels overwhelming. So you really need to be working through these kinds of layers and making it like there needs to be a nice user experience around enabling security for your team, right? And so if it means starting off with the backup, but it means less people, get locked up accounts at a critical time, that they feel, not so much danger around that, and they make sure that they actually enable 2FA across all the apps that they use. This is a good app. They should still write down their keys somewhere, their backup keys somewhere, but at least this will make them feel a little bit more like this isn't going to cause more issues than it solves. Um, and then like moving on to YubiKeys, this is actually a pretty good one because it actually is like a pretty nice user experience. You literally get a key, you plug into your keyboard, and that is your 2FA key. It's actually quite nice because like um my authenticator now I have to scroll through like pages of stuff to find something, whereas a YubiKey just set up right away. And that is quite nice. And the good thing about those is you can actually buy them in like in pairs or triples or even more, so that you can actually have one, that one you use day to day, one you keep in a safe, and it's actually a pretty like simple way of saying, okay, instead of having to like back up all my codes all the time, I can have this. I already have a backup that kind of works, works for me, right? So the user experience are going to actually be even better than 2FA, but then again, you have to make sure people store it securely, don't leave it lying around somewhere because somebody walking by. I think their honestly only downside is they look very recognizable. You look at it like if you kind of know it, you know what that's a UBT and like just some like USB stick or something. I've seen some people actually like kind of hiding them and like kind of decorating them a little bit or something like that just to make it look not so obvious, which I think is a good idea. Um, but yeah, we can maybe talk a
Yeah.
little bit about. I think we should talk a little bit about like actually like Argentina, like Def Connect. We're at DSS right now. Um, maybe Juan, you can speak a little bit about
Mhm.
what you've been seeing in Argentina, some of the topics, some of the events you've been to at Def Connect, and the DSS right now. So it's good time to this. And we're seeing like honestly like a lot of great topics here, but like, a lot of summer too.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. Thanks, Nikita. Yeah, actually, I think Dev Connect has been great so far. Like, I've seen a lot of side events, probably more than 200 side events all over Buenos Aires. Buenos Aires is a big city, so you need to know that there is traffic. You need to know that places might be like 1 hour Uber from other place. So all of these need to be in consideration when you try to select the best side events to attend. And yeah, a lot of funny things are happening here. I saw like some people on Twitter complain about like no coffee on Dev Connect main venue. Like they need to go like outside the venue to get coffee. I think that's being solved right now. But yeah, a lot of things like this are currently happening. And yeah, as mentioned, a lot of people here from all over the world are coming. They're speaking. There are a lot of companies also releasing interesting things. I saw, for example, Aave releasing like a V4 testnet in here in Buenos Aires. I think this is really interesting to see like all the different developments, like from DeFi companies being announced here in Buenos Aires, being announced in DevConnect. Lot of examples
Ave's
here from
Ave's launching their own app too, right? So that was just
yes,
announced, and that's really exciting because they're going right after all the fintechs, after banks, all this other stuff. Because you can literally have a savings account there, you can spend, you can kind of make your fund. I think they're really going after the mainstream now, which is very very
yeah,
interesting because the app is much more simplified. It takes a lot of the crypto stuff out of it. Like just going to the average user. I just heard a speaker talking about this now. Like they're seeing many apps now launching where just like it's just like, hey, this is your savings account, put money in here, earn 5%. We optimize kind of yield for you. There's no mentions even of like AI, like there's no mentions of AI, there's no mentions of crypto. It's just like very straightforward user based product. And that's what I'm seeing like a ton of here. Just people are realizing, okay, like we have good infra. Do we still need more infra? Sure. Like we still need to keep improving it. It's gonna keep getting better. But we're now finally at the stage where gas fees aren't like $50. It's you can transactions are cheap, transactions are fast. Now it's like the time product system. Like it's really the time to build the products that end users will use. There's already a ton of like companies. There's like Slack I've seen has grown very fast, and they're basically based on like stable coins in the background for their new banking system. And yeah, this is just like products are being built and growing quickly that you have no idea crypto is actually the rails that's powering them. So seeing a lot of that. And I can confirm the coffee situation has been solved. I just had one a couple of minutes ago. Um, and yeah. Um, what are you seeing on
What
so
I got a question before we wrap the Argentina
yeah,
topic
yeah,
up.
yeah.
What would you guys say like is the vibes currently over there? Because we all know that the market like took a plunge. Do you see any like impact on that on the people being there, or is it not as much of a topic as you might
There's
think?
honestly still a ton of people. I mean, there's some people are grumpy, some people are complaining about that. But honestly, like a lot of people are just focused on building. I think a lot of people in this space right now, they're great builders. They've survived many, many cycles. And to them, they're like, honestly, like I've talked to so many people that are like, I don't even know what the price of Bitcoin is right now. They're just like mere building. So this is really good to hear because I think at the end of the day, it's like our company. We actually started our company in a down market, and then things went really well. Then the market went back down. Things went back down. The company has only went up. So it's
Yeah.
because you just continue building, you keep improving, and the right products will be finding success. And so um, there are obviously
Yeah.
challenges sometimes with like liquidity and certain other areas, so you do need to make sure you have the right things in place, that you're not maybe going too crazy on leverage trading and right? Um, I think overall, like if people 5 years ago could think would be in this space, they'd be like, no, like this is the crypto growing so.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with Nikita. I have like the same feeling here. Like a lot of people are much more focused on building, on mentioning us like what's like it makes them excited about the next phase of their products, of their growth. Like they are mostly focused on that, on their product market fit, on what they're trying to improve, and their products and their services. So that's mostly what I'm seeing on the conversation I'm having as well. And yeah, overall, I think a lot of people are coming here from Europe, from the US, from the Canada, and all of them are quite happy, I think, with the weather in general. Today it's raining a bit, but it's great here in general, like 20 degrees, I would say, mostly average every day. So I think they are enjoying the vibes, they're enjoying the food as well. So I think that helps with the general mood in here.
So no
Yeah, it's been
jackets, no
good.
jacket zone.
No, no. Awesome.
Okay. It's interesting because like if you are like me who's like almost always on the timeline like on X like all day, you could think like it's the whole like bear market scenario is like full blown and everyone is just like turned bearish and everyone is freaking out. And like it's the exact opposite if you're actually like visiting a conference where crypto builders are out there and not like just like people who like are making like noise on the timeline. And actually, I made a tweet like 2 days ago, I think, or one day ago, where I talked about like stable coins. Like they are such a boring product, right? But at the end of the day, they might be the solution that onboards a lot of people into the space, like without even knowing
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I think this is something we heard talked about too, is there's a lot of people also building here products where it's like, oh, this is like your savings account. It's gonna earn you 5 to 10%. It's like you're not gonna get the juicy 30%, 50%, 100% APYs or APRs anymore, right? Um, but it's fundamentally because it's also just because of the size of the industry, right? Um to go 2x from 1K to 2K is easier than to go 2x from like 100K to 200K. And similar thing with the volumes of money, like it's the comparisons really need to be to more people are starting to look more at traditional financial products and just understanding, okay, in TradFi, like 5-10% is like great returns for like a lot of money managers, right? There's others that can go higher than that. It's like some adjusted risk, but crypto products are making this like way more accessible to people around the world. It's I think a really important part. The from what we're seeing is like returns are often a bit still better than in TradFi, but you can access them from every single part of the world way more easily without a lot of extra like like just going through a lot of extra hoops. And so that's where people are looking because as more money pours in, the returns will not be the same, but they are now global. And this is because it's not targeting such a small audience that there was in here.
Yeah, that's a pretty good take, I think. I think we have QR codes left, which are pretty much exclusive to events, right?
Yeah, we're seeing this. It's kind of interesting because like QR codes can be a great way to like you scan it, you quickly get for example Telegram. Obviously, everybody's telling me Telegram QR codes. Like Telegram has become the main way the entire crypto industry communicates. At the same time, there can be danger around it, right? You can take it to a site. The site might trigger automatic download. Maybe that download is a PDF with some word and there's something else similar. Um, so honestly, like I would say this we discourage, the scanning people because we see them started all over the place. Like there's like phones plastered with them. Obviously everybody's presentations. Yeah, if it's somebody that's like presenting and they it's from like a trusted party that's less likely that it's gonna do something malicious. But I think be careful. It's like again, it's like there's certain levels to it. Because don't scan any QR codes. There was an interesting case. Not this DeFi security summit, but I remember the last one in Dev. There was two guys that came in and they were like wearing these like suits, looking very like professional. They said there's some sort of investors. They started giving out people these business cards with like a site and a QR code on the like, and this is they just came to the wrong place. They came to the security people to try and like scam people or something. Yeah, like a fake site, the QR code linked to a Google form. The site itself didn't do anything malicious, but I think they were mostly trying to harvest people's emails. The company, what we found out was fake. The company was like not a real company, so they were definitely there trying to scam people. Eventually, security like escorted them out. But um, it was interesting because oftentimes these things might have like multiple stages to them too, right? It's not that you're gonna scan a QR code and suddenly all your like money is gone. There's many protections in place against like such a like straightforward attack, but they do it in steps, right? They might say like, oh, fill out this form, to receive, early access to like our new app. Then now they have your email. Now they start targeting you with phishing ads, or they start targeting you with phishing just like emails being sent out to you. They look at your, they follow on. They're like, oh, here's the email. You receive it, go here, download this like beta test of this game. Oh, sorry, we're not on Android yet. Download the APK. Load this. Like we're not on the Play Store yet. Download this APK. And then there's the malware. Right? So it's like it's multiple steps now that they go through. And so what I would just say is that honestly, don't scan a QR code and fill out random forms. Like it has to be a trusted company. Verify with my friend. Do some digging on social media. Not to say like it's like I'm not gonna tell you you can't click any link on the internet. Yeah, but do some research on the company first, before you just give people your data.
I think one of the biggest issues we
Yeah.
have with QRs is basically also that you cannot like if you're looking at a link, you can maybe like see like a typo squatting, right? You see like there's
Yeah,
some
yeah.
I don't know, like capital I instead of an L or whatever. You might recognize that, but with a QR code, like for a human being, it's basically like impossible to scan that.
Yeah.
Like if you
Yeah.
can, kudos to you. You should be doing something else.
Yeah, and from my side to add to Nikita's answer, I think if it's possible, if you have like a phone that you use only for your travels, for the conferences, I think that's much safer because if you don't have like any wallets, if you don't have like any accesses, nothing important in that phone, personally I feel myself more safer by scanning with that phone than with other phone that might have like accesses, emails, important stuff, to a face, all of those things and things that we store in our phones in most of the cases. If you can avoid like having two phones for this, that's like a good option to be aware of this, like all the different scams. And also try to see if you can have like two different Telegram accounts is possible as well. Just when you're like, I'm not 100% sure of the people that you are talking, it's like a second, I would say, second layer of protection that you can have in order to not provide your official information. Also in Telegram, you can hide your phone number. So if you are not doing that, do that as well. And yeah, those I would say my main recommendation on that side when interacting with people using that. Indeed, in here, that's mostly for Telegram, but we were at a conference on Sunday, if I'm correct. There was privacy. A lot of people also were asking information via Signal. That's different social media that in crypto is being used for outreach, for networking. So that's a world I would say 95% of things happen over Telegram. So I would say taking some measures before you share your contact information is always good to have.
That's a great take, Juan. And especially like with the phone number on Telegram, I cannot tell you how many crypto contacts I have told, like, hey, is it
Yeah,
right that
remove
I
this
can
thing.
see your phone number on Telegram? Like, is this meant to be this way? And every single one of them told me, hell no, you're not supposed to see my phone number. But I
Yeah.
was. So luckily I was I was the guy who told them, but they told me like, hey, I received like spam calls, etc. Yeah, you know now why, because like it's visible to everyone in Telegram, so check your settings there.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, with that, guys, I think we can probably, wrap there. Some concluding just thoughts is that, uh, you know, stay safe while traveling. Try not to reveal too much about yourself. Bring a backup phone, especially while bring like a secondary, like, how you have you probably need a, especially if you're traveling, if you're doing something important in crypto. Um, and also like just keep building. The markets will be up, markets will be down, we'll be back up again, and things are going to be all good.
Yeah, from my part, similar message. Take really a lot of precautions when you're interacting with people, not with which people you are talking. Try to figure out if it's worth to share information or not. And on that regard as well, be have like all the backups in place, backup codes of your information. If you can have like two phones, one for work, one for your personal life, that's much better. And yeah, apart from that, enjoy the conference, enjoy networking with people if you are in Dev Connect right now. And if you're not, the markets are not the end of the world. So keep on building.
Yeah, like from my side, I cannot wrap any specific advice for traveling right now because, as you can see, I'm sitting in my man cave right here. But I respect the hell out of you, Nikita and Juan, for like doing the show even while traveling. And while we might have some tech issues with the sound or the lagging, please excuse us for that. But we're still doing the show, so we're still showing up, and we want to keep you guys informed and keep you guys with some security nuggets in here. So yeah, everyone, thank you for joining in tonight. See you next week, I guess.
До свидания. Bye, everyone.
Hasta
Have a
luego.
great,
Nos
have
vemos.
a great one. Auf Wiedersehen, sagen wir in Deutschland. Bis bald.